Hello again. Once upon a time, people in Britain could say anything at all which came into their head, as long as it was not treasonous or an incitement to violence. If they hated Irish people or Jews, then they could say so bluntly, and nobody cared much. If they believed that the earth was flat or that vaccines caused more harm than disease, then that was fine. Somebody had an antipathy to homosexuals or people from India, they could say so out loud, and the idea might be discussed, or the person could just be disregarded as a crank. I believe strongly that this is a healthy and desirable state of affairs, but it is one which is fast slipping away in this country. An awful lot of young people, according to modern surveys, actually approve of censorship. That is to say, they do not believe that people should be free to speak their mind about certain subjects. This is especially the case with young university students. They honestly believe that it is dangerous to allow people to say certain things on certain subjects. Expressing a personal view about whether marriage should consist of a man and a woman, or if two men is just as good a setup for marriage, is almost impossible these days without causing somebody to become incandescent with rage. Saying that you wish to live in an area with a majority of white people will be enough to have you branded a racist, and calling a man dressed in women's clothes he can bring the police knocking on your door for misgendering. Of course, that isn't a crime, but if the person concerned feels upset and tells the police and sees it as transphobia, then it might be logged as a hate incident, and this will show up if you have a DBS check for employment. It can actually harm your life chances if you express views which run contrary to the majority opinion. Of course, we see this awful lot on the internet, and it seems to me that free speech is now viewed with great suspicion, especially by left-wing people. I was prompted to think of this lately by some of the comments made on a channel which has been specially set up to counter me and the people who comment on this channel. There are some pretty loopy types on there, for example, a fellow who's always telling everybody that I have AIDS. What I do notice, though, is that the thing which makes people most angry is that I do not moderate the comments here, not deleting or blocking people, and often not responding, even if I think that they are wrong. In other words, it seems to be the completely free speech which is winding some people up, rather than what I am actually saying. The chief accusation made against me is by setting up what is in effect a public forum where people can say whatever they like, I am doing something dangerous and likely to cause violence. The suggestion is that because I do not contradict people and express my disgust at certain views, this must mean that I approve of those views and am therefore just as awful as those saying the thing. This is, of course, nuts. I think that most regular viewers will know where I stand on Israel and Zionism. Yet, when I see people commenting here praising Hitler and denying the Holocaust, I leave them to it. Does this really mean that I agree with them? Of course not. This is a free, open space where people can say all those things which they know will get them blocked or deleted in a lot of other places on the internet. And as such, it is, by the way, increasingly rare. The expression free speech is meaningless if you use it to mean only that people who say things that you agree with are free to speak, and that you will be censored or erase anybody who disagrees with you about something you feel strongly about. The only posts which I delete here are those advertising prostitutes and trying to draw people into scams involving cryptocurrency. Anybody who wishes to say anything else is quite welcome to do so. I regard the creeping menace of limiting and restricting what people are allowed to say as very dangerous for thought and for ideas. The only way that truth can ever be established is if people are allowed to let loose ideas and then see how they fare in the world. The lies will soon be exposed and the bad ideas will fall by the wayside. In the end, this is the surest way of discovering truth. Something I do find fascinating, turning once more to the channel which some of you might have seen, which is devoted to attacking me, is that my most vociferous critics there are also the most dishonest and prone to telling lies. This is curious. These same people are also the ones who are most opposed to the idea of free speech and criticise me fiercely for letting people say what they like in the comments here. The very fact that people have to make up stories about me, that I'm dying of AIDS, for instance, tells me that their arguments are probably not strong. When I see that these same people have a mortal dread of free speech and open discussion, then it tells me that I'm right in doing what I am doing, which is facilitating people speaking their minds, even if I disagree with much of what is said.